Ding dong YouTube, welcome back to the channel. I'm the Jobless Coder, and today I'm going to be going through some of the campaign slogans that I've put together for the Canada Disney Party. Now, before we get into that, I want to make sure that you're aware of what's going on. You need to go and watch the previous videos on this channel. This is a new political party in Canada that I'm trying to start and run it at the grassroots level. What does that mean? It means I'm looking for support for people who watch these videos to share them out, to tweet them out, especially to tag people like Elon Musk in it, as it's his companies that are going to be funded through these projects. So, before I get into the campaign slogans for this new party, I wanted to make some comments on some of the recent political news happening this week in Canada. Mostly the Stellantis scandal. This is another new scandal from the Liberal government where Carney had given $15 billion to this automobile manufacturer Stellantis, and apparently they handed it right over to Trump in the form of tariffs. So that's $15 billion lost that we could have spent on something. So, when I'm talking about $10 billion for these infrastructure projects in Alberta, and everyone's saying, oh, that's ridiculous, no investor's going to invest in Disney, why would an investor invest money in a Canadian Disneyland? It's too snowy. First of all, if the Disney park is a ski resort that also operates during the summer months to offer nature walks and canoe rides, then it would make sense to invest in a Disney ski resort in a country that is full of snow. First of all. Second of all, they make comments to me. My friends and family have made comments regarding the money. Like, where is it going to come from? Oh, this is ridiculous. We have $500 billion allocated in this budget. Now, the budget, as I understand, is over a 5-year period, so that's not entirely all at once, but my initial proposal, my initial plan had been based on a $10 billion investment. I do believe that's the amount of money that is being spent on the 7th theme park out in the Middle East, in the United Arab Emirates. And again, that's news to a lot of people that don't pay attention. Disney Corporation is already allocating the money and the funds for a new Disney theme park. I'm saying Canadians should make a pitch to Disney and explain to them why they would make more money if they spent and invested that $10 billion here. That's where that $10 billion number comes from. Now, if we were going to take this further at the scale of the entire country, I would ask for $10 billion per province. What would that allow me to do? That would allow me on my budget, when I come back over here, to get rid of some of the items in here that are currently allocated in this $10 billion. If this entire $10 billion was for just the province of Alberta, then I could take things off like the cruise lines, because this would be for the economy in BC, for Vancouver West, and the economy in Nova Scotia for Halifax East. And then that would allow me to bump some of these other numbers up. Some of these numbers need to change. Like, I had initially allocated $5 million for the underground terminals, but then thinking about it a bit more, I thought, no, they probably need 10 times that. So $50 million. This will have to be bumped up to $50 million, $50 million, $50 million. And I can do that by removing these two items from the budget at $1 billion each, because I only have about 14 million left to allocate. So in order to bump these numbers off, I'll take this stuff off, and other stuff like this $30 million water slide project in Kelowna, that will be moved over to the BC side of the budget. And I'll make a budget for each province. We'll say $10 billion for Alberta, $10 billion for British Columbia, $10 billion for Saskatchewan, and so on and so on. So that's how I intend to change the budget. But when it comes to the Stellantis money, that's $15 billion that Mark Carney lost. And people say, where's the money going to come from? Well, there's $15 billion of the $10 billion that I'm asking for the province of Alberta. Just gone like that. So Canada does have the money. Now, if we were to do $10 billion per province, that would mean $100 billion budget total. But we have $500 billion to allocate for the budget. So I'm suggesting that Canadians should demand 20% of it. Say, you can do whatever else you want. You can fund Ukraine, you can fund Gaza, you can fund whatever you want to fund overseas with the remaining $400 billion. Give $100 billion to this Disney project and let the people, the citizens who voted for you in, get to decide how that money is spent and on what projects and where in which provinces. I think that's a reasonable ask. Given that the entire country is being told or asked that we have to lower our quality of standard of living. We have to lower our standard of life here in the country because our politicians out east failed. So, I think Canadians should make a counter offer and say, okay, fine, you give us 20% of your budget, that is $100 billion, and we get to decide how it is spent. Or else, we're having a full, complete clean of house next election. I want to see everyone gone. On both sides. I'm talking Pierre too. And Danielle Smith, because I tried getting this information to her 6 freaking months ago, and she was too busy to take my call. So, if the politicians are going to dance around with their thumbs up their asses, then I think it's only fair for Canadians to put our foot down. I know it's not going to be comfortable, because Canadians are not used to uncomfortable things. That's why none of the videos that I make on the channel go viral, because it's uncomfortable information to digest. You need to put your foot down and say, no, if we're being told that we need to lower our quality of life, we are demanding 20% of the budget for what we want. And we will decide where that money goes. Signed, the citizens of Canada. Now, I think that by doing that, we go back to the budget. I currently have $1 billion for the cruise lines. More realistically, they probably need $10 billion each. So that would be $10 billion here and $10 billion here. That's $20 billion. Guess what? That's also only 25% of what our military got. And our military defense spending are spending it on American-produced warplanes. So if we come over to the website for the slogans, you'll see here I've chosen a hashtag, Choose Canada. I think that's a pretty appropriate hashtag, Choose Canada over the Middle East. Campaign slogans. You would have to be economically suicidal to support Carney's budget. Would the RCAF like to explain to the Canadian taxpayer how they calculated the ROI, that is the return on investment, of $80 billion worth of American manufactured warplanes? Was it measured in dollars per hour to pockets or body bags per minute? Would Carney like to explain to the Canadian taxpayer what the ROI of $660 million worth of DEI programs is? Is it measured in dollars per hour to pocket or grievances per minute? Tweet that at Jordan B. Peterson. Would Trump like to come to see the world's largest museum of American manufactured automobiles? Maybe he'd like to come up here and spend his vacation money in Canada for once in his life. He can watch a NASCAR race too, because Alberta is the Texas of the North, and the only location outside of America with a bloody NASCAR track. Hashtag Reynolds Museum, hashtag Wetaskiwin. This is the budget that is balanced and gets you everything that you need and want, plus so much more, but you will be expected to give something first. First. The handout budget for Canada of 2025. Our Canadian politicians haven't learned a single thing from the American podcast presidency, and they think they're going to frickin' win. If Disney wants their very first ski resort, they'll be expected to reimburse the taxpayer for our, God forbid, socialist feel-good program. I'm talking about the CPR Canada Pacific Rail. Why? Because it's Christmas. That's why. And if that's too much to ask, then no one gets anything at all. The nation of NVIDIA has more money than the entire asset class of this country, and Canadians still think we're the best. HONK. Canadians are allergic to math. Mr. Trump isn't going to like paying for our new NASCAR track from his personal funds, but he just fucked the entire automobile sector of this country. So if that's too much to ask, he doesn't get his high-speed electric rail up north through our province. Apparently, Canadians are allergic to math. The Honorable Justin Trudeau will have a statue built in his likeness within the Canada Disneyland Park. And if that confuses you, why? We would build a statue to the man that destroyed this country. You'll have to travel to Canada to learn why, because apparently no one else in Canada actually knows what Disney sells. Story. And our Indigenous love their stories. They practically never shut up about it. I wonder if the LGBT content creators working for Disney would rather help us plan the Canada Disneyland Park in a country that actually supports gay rights, Or would you rather build it out in the Middle East? Hashtag Islam. The LGBT of the nation will riot over using taxpayer money to fund Trump's vacation. But then they won't get their world's largest gay bar and social nightclub for the furries, down in Lethbridge, Alberta. If paying for Trump to eat ice cream is too much to ask, then no one gets anything at all. Honk honk. The Disney Party of Canada will negotiate with the opposition at the federal level and the provincial government to grant ownership of reserved territory back to our Indigenous. But we won't be doing anything at all for Indigenous until the Indigenous of this nation drop every last claim regarding land ownership in the courts. And the courts in British Columbia just enshrined a ruling that is so economically suicidal you would have to be a psychopath to support it. It will cause the property value in this nation to drop to $0. Zero. Canadians, if you want to make money, stop telling me to get a job and start funding some of my ideas. Hashtag innovation. So, there you go. Those are the starting slogans for the movement and the campaign. And I'm blasting them out on social media. Because I think they hit hard, and they hit strong. But they need to hit hard and strong to get the message across. Now, these are slogans that I've created. I haven't even yet asked the AI to help. I've been using the AI a lot for planning policies. I use the AI to write the privacy policy on the website that's linked below. I'm going to be using the AI to write campaign slogans too. So expect them to become even more ruthless as the AI crafts them over time, because it needs to be ruthless because it's true. And if the truth upsets you, God help us all, we have more problems than money in this country. Thank you for watching the video, and until then, I'll see you in the next one.